Learning to read is one of the most important skills which children need to master if they are to do well at school. In this program, we show how teachers in Lesotho have adapted their teaching of reading to help children with disabilities, as well as those who experience difficulty with reading. The approaches which you will see the teachers using can be helpful with Lesotho as well as English reading. Children first need to have a good grasp of language. For example, they are able to name objects, body parts, and common actions. Activities such as these give them practice in learning the meaning of words in both Lesotho and English.
Exercise. Wash your face. Mano, wash your face. Wash your face. Yes. Touch your nose. Touch your nose. Touch your head. Touch your head. Touch your shoulders. Touch your chin. Touch your chin. Not your head. Not your head. Not your head. Malo, not your head. I want somebody to come, take a bucket and put it under the table. Put it under the table. Where is the bucket?
The bucket is under the table.
Again.
The bucket is under the table.
Okay. Put it in the bucket. Okay, where is the battery?
The battery is in the bucket.
Sit under the table. Is he correct?
No.
I want under the table. Okay, where is she? Go. Where is Sondi?
Sondi is under the table.
Sondi is under the table.
Tabo is breaking a stick.
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 Tabo is breaking a stick. Food.
Mutosala
Okay, Mujabe is sitting on the chair. Mujabe, say Mujabe is sitting on the chair. Mujabe, say Mujabe is sitting on the chair. Again.
Recognizing pictures is the beginning of reading. The picture or drawing represents an object in the same way that the written word does. However, it is so much easier for a child to recognize what the picture stands for than it is to recognize the written word.
Where is that be?
Children also need to be able to recognize the letters of alphabet. This is not easy, as some letters such as these are easily confused. This activity of matching letters will give children practice in identifying the main differences between them. Having shown what he is to do, he then tries alone. Teachers should point out his mistake and have him try again.
Very good.
And here is another example of a child having extra practice in matching letters. Notice how the teacher helps the child to correct his mistake.
Yes, sir.
Writing words on flashcards such as these makes it easier for children to read words. Once again, activities like this will help children to recognize words.
Okay? What is this? What is this word? On. Okay. Visually, take this word and match it. See, correct? It's on. They sing. They sing. Under. No, not under the table, just under. Under. Under.
Later, the child can read the cards.
Put it the table. Say the table. Is she correct? Yes. Okay. Barrett, can you do that? Can you take, stand up. Can you take the broom and put it to table? You get him? You get him. Put the broom, the table. Shine bright.
Here is another example of teaching children to read the name of objects.
The ball, you know the ball? The ball is like this. The one you catch, something you catch or kick. Okay? Doll. Something like this. Doll. Bed. Okay, something we sleep on. Okay, give me what? Ball. Give it to me. Doll. Good. Bed.
Children have to learn that the letter in a word stands for different sounds. Note that this is not the name of the letter, but rather the sound which that letter makes in a word. For example, the letter we call S in Sesotho makes the sound S. This activity gives children practice at identifying the sounds at the beginning of the word.
Oh, game. What should we say? Game. How is it? Train a bone. When I give banana, then hooky. They got a game. Say again, game. So say this answer.
By joining up the letter sounds, children learn to pronounce words as they are written. Si, tu, lo, bo, lo. Once children can read a number of single words, they can be introduced to reading simple sentences. Once again, flashcards are a good way of giving children practice in putting words into short sentences.
The bed. Ball on the bed. Ball on the bed. Something you kick or catch. Allow it. On the. Get me. Something you slip on the what? Speak aloud. Ako ba upele niya ba kayo?
It is only when children have practiced and mastered all these different skills that they should be introduced to reading books. These need to be very simple to begin with, and the child should only move on to harder books when they have mastered the one they are working on. If children are having problems with certain words in the book, teachers can write them on the blackboard or flashcards so that the children can have extra practice.
Speak aloud. Read with him, all of you. We can read here. We can read this sentence.
Can you see?
Again.
Can you see?
Let us read all of us.
Can you see?
Again.
Families should be encouraged to assist the child at home and show the reading activities which are being used in school. Within a class, teachers can expect to find children at different levels of reading ability. Breaking the class down in group of pupils whose abilities are much the same has many advantages for pupils and teachers. Children can work at their own level, and teachers can tailor their help to the child's particular needs. Here is an example of reading group at work.
She is carrying the bag. She is carrying the bag. What is she saying? What is she saying? She is saying, I am going to school. She is saying, I am going to school.
Although some children continue to have great difficulty with reading, some progress is possible once the teaching is attuned to the child's ability. That is quite a challenge for teachers, but as we have seen, many of them in Lesotho are successfully meeting the challenge. Learning to write is another difficult skill for children to master. Writing requires very precise hand movement like this.
Is he good? Yes. Has he got it right? Yes.
So before children start to write, they need to practice controlling their hands. Activities such as these are a good way for children to learn hand control.
Happy, il est réveillé ici. Happy, Giffy. Happy, I'll take that, Giffy. Yo, Yabana, it's about ha ha. Yeah, very good.
Children's earliest attempt at using a pencil or crayon will produce nothing better than a scribble. But this is important practice for the child in holding a pencil.
Eight. Yeah, one eight. Yeah. Seven. Seven. Okay.
Controlled movements can be further encouraged by having children color in shapes or a drawing. Teachers can prepare worksheets like this so that children can practice controlled movements by drawing a line within the marked path. Pencil control can be further developed by having the child copy simple shapes like this. Making patterns like this is another good way of helping children to practice pencil control. Mistakes must be pointed out and further practice given. When children first come to write numerals and letters, teachers can draw a dotted line for them to follow.
Join them. Start here. Here. Start there. In the box. 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 Ba, be, bi, go.
Mwana uliwa mtuku. Samisa mkutunzi mkutunzi. Kwa fala sama it's only the food again. It's only the masala kama mumu. Okay.
Children also need to learn the proper starting point when writing each letter. In this way, they write more smoothly and produce clearer letters. Here is an example of this being taught.
Kalama. Mana matumozi. Yuko pa. Yana yuko pa witu lejana. Yuko pa. Wana. Yule ndio yuko pa. Wawana. Okay, wawana wenzi sababu hicho nandi. Tukana mno. Shule wa kupatakana. Again. Keep going. Again. Continue. Look at them. Again. Look at them.
And in this activity, children get practice at writing one letter at a time.
Again. Dog. Kanaga. D. Again. Dali. Kibata umoni. Di. D. Umoni. Di. India. China. Itla kanti. Hakiki ngokwana ko ivi. Mola uka.
Mola kapelating.
Mola kapelating.
Sana ndio.
Children also have to learn to write between lines. An activity like this should help them to do so while trying to keep their letters of the same size.
Itu bulu. Oke, begini. Duduk dulu. Oke.
As we can see, children need a great deal of practice before they write neatly. Giving them opportunities to draw also helps their writing.
Matsohane. Coba lihat. Hana mas.
What? Tail. So draw a tail. Yes. Again. Yes. Last. Again. Last. Again. Last. Fast is. For a book. Things in school, please. Things in school. There are many things in the class. What are they?
Some children may find it easier to draw than to write words. Even so, nearly all children, no matter how disabled, can learn to write their name, and indeed, many will be able to do much better than this if they get help from teachers and fellow pupils. For those children who find writing particularly difficult, teachers should concentrate on having them write words and sentences which will assist them in everyday life. For example, writing a shopping list, their address, or short messages to pass on to another person. With planned teaching and graded practice, writing is yet another skill that most children can master. Many children experience difficulty when they first start learning about numbers. Children who have intellectual disabilities or who are slow learners often experience problems, as their teacher describes.
Coming to the numbers, it's very tough. Even the normal child, when writing the numbers, they get very confused. Just imagine this one. I try to give him some bottle tops to count, like one. Maybe you could say one. The first time I used to say, write stick, trying to show them that stick, we call it one. Then he did write stick, then put another bottle tops under those one, and two, and put two bottle tops under two, and write three, and put three bottle tops under three.
As the teacher suggests, children first need to practice matching one object to another, as this child is doing. When introducing children to counting, begin with smaller numbers and then count real objects, like these teachers are doing.
One, two, three.
They find that counting is difficult. I put the children in front of the class, maybe 4 children, and we count them all. After that, I help them to count individual. Counting the numbers, they are so difficult. They can't, they did not know how to put the numbers in order. When I point, maybe it is on reading. When I point 5, sometimes they say it's 2 or 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How about put the happy hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Indeed, counting is a hard task for children to get right. Notice the mistake this boy makes when he counts by himself. Counting exercises like this will help children learn to count correctly. Start with small numbers such as 4.
1. Okay. 4. You got it. 4. Do you want to hit the hand? So that this is 4. Ball. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I do 4, do 4. I'm going to do 4. Okay. If I let it fall, Đi cậy nữa. Before, đi cậy. Đi sắp có bằng nó được xong. Đi cậy. Đi cậy. Đi cậy. Before, đi cậy. Before. Ada di dalam hand. Itu ada 2. Oh, sama ada sana. The 2. 1, 2. Itu kayak. Gitu ya.
Two. How many bad? 1, 2. You get.
A game with a dice is a good way to give children extra practice at counting. These games can be easily made by teachers for playing at school or at home.
Okay, hi, let's 3. Ini motor wazama. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Kan dia change lewa. Kata wana atla fisa pili gani. Hi. Leo. Atla fisa pili gani. Hi gigan. Zumba gigan. Hi gimona. Very good. Okay, enggak kami saya coba. Okay. Nah, cuba. Cuba gani. Hai quên, balahan, kịp cái. 1, 2, 3. Ủa sao mà thấy cái sự phi chắc cái bi. Hơi kia rồi hả? Hơi kia rồi. Bà là hè, ô bà, đi kìa này, hai bà.
1, 2, 3.
Ra mấy xa các cô hè. 1, 2, 3. Cảm ơn.
1, 2, 3.
Good.
Groups of children can play these games while teachers prepare lessons or teach the rest of the class. Once the child can count accurately, teachers can introduce simple addition. Once again, start with objects which the child can count, rather than sums on the blackboard.
Happy. Right? Baba, come over there.
1, 2.
Happy.
1, 2.
Happy.
1, 2.
Baba kay.
Batu.
Batu. Hai kang baba kau ferhat. Kalau kau Di dong 3. Baba pada baba. Aku bawa pada baba ni. Aku bawa pada hat.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Baba kay. Baba kay. Baba.
I have 3 sticks and 4 sticks. So we are going to add this number 3 sticks plus 4. 3 sticks plus 4 sticks. So I will put them together. How's the next step? We are going to count them. Let us count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are 7.
Children also have to learn what the number symbol mean. Once again, they often make mistakes.
Let us count them. Count. Always count when counting. 1, 2. Again. 1, 2. From this number, 2. Take 2. 2. Is this 2, Gege? Is this 2? Hey, Gege. Is this 2? Gege, I get a we said when we count, we say 1, 2. 2 should follows 1. 2 is this one. Do you see it?
Here is one way of helping children to learn numeral 1 to 5. By adding dots, you can make it easier for them to get the correct answer.
Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You take the number 1. Aha, good, my boy. How many are these? Let us count them. 1, 2. There are 2. Take 2. 2, 2. Good. How many are these ones? How many are these ones? 1. Let us count them. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. From these numbers, pick 3. 3. 3. Oh, this one is 3. Is this 3? Okay. Good, KK.
Sometimes children with learning problems need practice at writing numerals correctly. And other people can help with this. First, getting the child to copy the numerals, then calling out the numbers for the child to write down. Once children have grasped the basics of numbers, they can be introduced to money. Identifying coins is the first step. Simple sums like these can then be introduced. Pretend shops in the classroom are an opportunity for children to practice using money, adding and subtracting. And an activity like this is a way of helping children to learn the time.
How
does the time, class?
The time is 8:30.
How is the time?
The time
As we have seen, most children with disabilities can learn the basic number skills, and it is important that they do, as numbers are such an important part of community living.